Hello and welcome back to the Everything Canada Soccer podcast. I am your host Jordy, here again as always with Felipe. How you doing, Felipe?
I'm doing good, man. How about you?
Good, not too bad, not too bad. A little tired, long day, but that's okay because this is
Fair
like
enough.
something I really enjoy coming to do this. So I'm excited to get stuck in, which we'll just get right into it. Canada is scheduled to
Yeah,
play Qatar in Slovakia, isn't it?
yeah. It's in Europe. It's in
Tomorrow.
Slovakia.
Yeah, it's in
Yep.
Slovakia, which I think not for this game, but for the game against Uruguay on Tuesday, they actually released tickets for any Canadian travelers that are out there or anyone that lives out there. So there you go. If you're out there and watching this, how's it going? I don't know how to say hi in any European language, maybe German, hello. But no, hopefully you can catch the game and be able to watch the boys and support them from afar because it's new uncharted territory that we are all embarking on right now. Even as fans, never. I've always watched the World Cup as a German fan due to my heritage, but I've never had my own native country kind of be a part of it. So I'm excited. But we play Qatar tomorrow, and to make it a little bit more exciting for us, we're gonna try and guess with all the injuries and all the narratives around European football and North American football. We're gonna try and guess what the starting lineup is gonna be against Qatar tomorrow.
Yep.
So I think we always start with a goalkeeper, so maybe let's start with a striker first, or start with them top and then maybe work our way down to the bottom.
Okay.
We always start as a goalkeeper, so I'll let you, Felipe, start. Who do you think will be leading us out tomorrow at the front?
I think Lair is starting tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that David will be starting with him. So that's the two guys I think will be on the front line tomorrow.
Yeah, you think he won't even try and shuffle it or anything. Try and look at. He'll just play his two starting strikers.
Yeah, that's what I think that he's gonna play, and then it's a FIFA friendly match, right? So you can do I think 7 subs, I believe.
Mm,
Or
okay.
9,
Uh,
like you can do tons of
yeah.
subs, right? So he might even come back with do 5 different subs on half, right?
Fair enough. Yeah.
um, so yeah, I think that two players that he might, once we go down the list, I think that he'll add two players to this lineup that were sort of starting and benching through the whole qualifications process,
Yeah.
but that I think they are kind of like on test, but everyone else
Hmm.
that is starting tomorrow, I think they're like guaranteed in the World Cup. Of course, if they're healthy, right? So
Yeah. Of course.
yeah,
I mean, that leads. I'd probably argue the same. I'd probably agree with you. It doesn't really make any sense to like start just some random, just your non-starters. Cavallini
yeah,
is an option as well, but
absolutely, absolutely.
I think he'll play a good amount tomorrow, just because he has played. If we remember from a couple of months ago, pardon me, that Cavallini was a massive star in Vancouver Whitecaps side. He was literally keeping them from losing every game of the season with his clutch, like late minute goals and everything like that. So I think that he's definitely warranted to start, but I do think that Jonathan Herdman's probably going to go with Glarin and David because realistically, that is our best two.
Yeah,
Cavallini is probably more similar to Jonathan David, and Jonathan David at the moment's just definitely better than Cavallini. It's not that hard to say. So I think you're right too. I think just to clarify, I think that we're going to be playing a 3-5-2 or a version of that, just because I think that that's usually that's I think what we're going to play against Belgium. If we watched Belgium today, I'm pretty sure if I remember they played with a back three. I'm pretty sure from when I watched the Nations League today against
that is
Wales.
also so that is also, sorry for interrupting, but I think that
Oh,
is
good.
also the idea that we could be practicing for Morocco against Qatar, and we could use it a
Mm,
more defensive lineup against Uruguay, which is a more competitive team that
true.
has Suarez, Cavani,
Mm,
Rascaeta, like quite a few players,
yes.
Valverde, quite a few players that are
Yeah.
offensively great. That I think would be a good trial for us. You know what I mean? To prepare for Belgium rather than
Yeah.
Qatar. I think Qatar we could pretzel or offense. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You
Keeping the
know
ball
what?
possession like high up the line on pressure on defense, right? Instead of like defending and exploring counterattacks. I don't know. That's
Hmm.
just my opinion. If I'm a coach, I would try to look at it both ways too, right? Like I know we're playing Belgium first, but we'll play Morocco which is most likely the team we want to explore 3 points. Because
Yes.
even if we lose to Belgium, we'll be tied to who else are we playing? Croatia. We beat Morocco by 2 or 3 goals. We should, depending how Croatia plays, we should still be able to qualify in second. It just would suck if we tie with Morocco or lose to Morocco, right? So
yeah. No, I think I think you're spot on. I didn't even think of it that way, but having a team like Qatar and then Japan when we play them right before the World Cup will be like then of those teams just under the best teams, the kind of you're under your Belgium, your Uruguay, your pot one sort of teams. But I think so then it might be more of an attacking, which means that Jonathan David might be more of an attacking midfielder, which he plays that role fantastically. He's great at holding up the ball and playing the striker that's a bit more direct, or they could play as a 2 potentially. But I still think it'll be a 3 at the back, just because you need to practice. Like 3 at the back is hard. Like it's when done well, as we've seen with Antonio Conte, it's a fantastic system. However, if you don't have much practice in it, then you'd end up kind of looking a little silly. But I think to go along with that, again, I think he might be fielding, Richie Larea, Tajon Buchanan still, even though I think he traveled with the team, I think he's just getting over an injury at the moment. So I think he'll probably get a little bit of time.
Yeah, so I think that Davis and Buchanan will play on the sides for sure.
I think Larea probably will start over Buchanan, even if Buchanan's fit. I think Larea, depending on how much he's played, because he's kind of had this little 6, 7, 8 months not really playing too much.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be hard. But then again, Tajon's injured, or he's getting back from an injury.
Yeah, I think that Larea will start. I think that Buchanan will start as well, and I think that Johnson will start as well. I just don't know how I'm gonna fit them all, but because we don't. Do we have Kamal Miller for this one?
Yep.
Okay, so maybe that will be the starting. Maybe Larea will bench, or what's his name? What's his name again? Johnston will bench. But I think Buchanan will get the starting spot for sure. And then I feel like that the other defender playing on the right side will be Larea or Johnston. I would test Johnston, but I don't know. It's actually because of what you said. I think Larea came from a season like he barely played for Nottingham Forest, and then he wasn't a major impact on TFC. They just got lost their chances to make the playoffs like this week.
Eliminated,
So he's also going to be, not playing actively before the World Cup. So I would prioritize Johnston, which is playing for Montreal. He is doing that defender spot, sometimes even defensive midfielder. Sometimes he'll play Montreal.
But he's scoring a ton of goals at the same time. Like he's actually like their last game against New England, he scored the winner.
He plays different positions too, which is really good for a player on national team when he can shift from right back to defender to maybe help in the midfielder, right? Like coaches love that. So that versatility, right? So
trust me, as a youth coach, we teach kids to be, at this age for like 11-year-olds, play every position, because you never know and when you get older, what position you want to play on, what teams you might play for. And especially when you get older, eventually you'll specialize in a position, but it'll be nice to have in your back pocket, usually I play center mid, but I can also drop back into center back just in case there's an injury. It's especially for John Herdman, who only sees these players a little bit. If he has to make an adjustment, he has the players that can just quickly switch. So onto the midfield, though, which is interesting to talk about, especially because it's with Atiba Hutchinson just getting back from his or not getting back. I believe he's still injured from the last time I checked my app.
Yeah, he is injured. He's not playing. So I truly feel that Samuel Piet it's gonna get
I think he'll get some minutes.
And because he is like 90% in the World Cup. Like I feel like he played a lot for national team during the qualifiers to deserve that. But he still need to like stamp that. So I feel like he's like the first option there as a backup for Atiba. They have similar play styles. And I feel like he will start along like, Eustachio and maybe even Junior Hoylett.
Good, yeah.
I don't know. That's my trio right there. Like, I mean, together with all the Davis and Buchanan, right? So
I think that'd be, I don't know, but just because I'm not sure Hoylett has the stamina to like to keep up, so to speak, especially if it's against a Croatian team. I believe it's going to be hard to. I mean, they fielded, who was it? Brozovic, Modric, and Kovacic. All of them have more legs in them than a Junior Hoylett. So having a Piet, the more defensive mind, and then having Eustachio and K as kind of like the ones just in front of Piet, just to kind of cloud the midfield. So I think I could see a midfield three of those three, Piet, K, and Eustachio, just because I think that's probably going to be the midfield three, or at least the most likely one. We don't know what Hutchinson will be like. I think I saw a report that said Hutchinson would be back late October, which means he would get maybe 1 or 2 games before the international break hits for the World Cup, which means that he might, if he talks with the board, he might get 1 or 2 games maybe before the World Cup. So
Atiba, it's injured. Osorio is injured, right? We do know that we sometimes have Davis have been struggling with some injuries over the past, I would say, year. But I still not injuries, but he had his heart condition, right, which avoided him from joining for a little. I think it was a period of 3 months or 4 months.
Yeah.
But there is another player I think that it's injured, which could have been there and it's not there. I'm missing the name for defenders, right? Which would be Donald Henry. Since he left LAFC, he could have been getting a spot, but I think that Waterman deserved it better, and especially because Montreal's performing better defensively as well. And Harry, when he came from Korea, he didn't really show, like he didn't adapt to LAFC, and then ended up coming to Canada as well. But I think he would be a guy that could have had a chance just because we had a larger roster than average. It's not 23 players this time. We call it 26 or more, right? So
exactly. Well, and I agree with the whole sentiment that Joel Waterman does deserve. I mean, our poll on our Instagram story, it's 92% yes, 8% no. There's only one no in there.
Yeah.
So
the poll you did in the middle of class, right?
Yeah.
Just to know that
that just during when I was in school, I'm like, oh,
it must be a really boring class for you to be thinking about Joel Waterman in the middle of the class.
Yeah, right, exactly. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's a writing course, so it's definitely not. I'm not on the edge of my seat, ready to go. I'm thinking about the Canadian national team and when we're playing. I'm so ready and so excited for this game tomorrow. It's against Qatar, but I just want to watch us play. The last time we played was before the summer, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we lost one of the games, right? I believe, which was Costa Rica, maybe, or
because it was that whole debacle about the fair paid play and everything like that.
Iran, and then we play Curacao, I think, and then that was the Iran match that was canceled, right? So I'm with you.
No cancellations this time. We're on the business end of it all. So again, for the defenders, I think we'll probably see Kamal Miller and Steven Vittoria probably start, just because they've been the ones to. And then Joel Waterman coming in some points near the end, probably just to like see out a result or whatever, just to see him play the last like 15, maybe 30 minutes, depending on how John Herdman's feeling about it. But there's been a lot of buzz around Joel Waterman. We could honestly devote an entire episode of this just talking about him and his rise and how much better he is scoring goals, defending, becoming a main part of Montreal. But he's risen quite far, and I think he's nailed on to be in the World Cup squad. We'll obviously see in October if he gets called up again, and how
he's going to definitely get some minutes. He's definitely going to get some minutes tomorrow and Tuesday. But like it is a spot that he's competing. I mean, Johnston is there. Vitoria, it's most likely playing as a center CB on the if
Hmm.
we're playing with three defenders, right? And
Yeah.
then we have Kamal Miller, which is there. It's gonna go to the World Cup as well. Who is fighting for to be the bench for Kamal Miller is Derek Cornelius or John. Sorry, what's his name? Kennedy.
Yeah.
Um, so those two will be fighting for the left side of the defense, and on the right side, like that is not Larea can do, Johnston can do it, but like I said, they can do different positions, right? So I
Hmm.
feel like it'll be Waterman, Henry, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in this case, I would rather go with Waterman at this stage. So yeah, if we're playing with three often and we're bringing 26 players to Qatar, he is
Hmm.
in my list for sure.
Yeah. No, easily. And left back or left wing back is either going to be occupied by Alfonso Davies or Richie Larea or Samuel Adekugbe. And he's been great this year. I think he's probably
Yeah.
been our if not one of our stand-up players, the stand-up player. He's just turned it on ever since that goal against Costa Rica. Yeah, no, the goal against the United States. But ever since, I just remember him jumping in the snowbanks last November,
Yeah,
like that
he had
iconic,
moments. Yeah.
that iconic Canadian footballing moment, and he just continues to play well. Eventually, scores against the Americans, basically to solidify us qualifying for the World Cup. Was that the game? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was the game that we ended up
Yeah.
qualifying over the Americans, which just makes it such a feel good local boy here. But it's just he deserves to start against Belgium. So I don't know how I don't know how that will be able to happen, or how we could fit him and Davies at the same time. But I think
No,
he'll
you
definitely
can
start
fit
tomorrow.
in Dave because Davis can play more as a left winger, right?
Yeah.
I just think it depends on the formation, but yeah, no, I think it's a good call. So yeah, I think
Hmm.
our formations are pretty, our lineups are pretty similar. Besides two or three
Yeah.
players, I think I had Kamal Miller, you had Samuel, I
Hmm.
had Hoylett, and you had Mark Anthony,
Yeah.
uh, and I think I had Buchanan, you had Larea, right?
Yeah.
So that's pretty much the
Yeah.
difference. Everyone else were on the same page.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I'm really excited, man. I hope to see good football too. You know, oh,
Hmm.
sorry, soccer. I know you like to say soccer. Let's just say good soccer. I want to see some good soccer tomorrow, because, like I said, it's relatively an inferior team,
Hmm.
um, even inferior than Morocco, right? Like, is that typical team that would not be there if it wasn't for the
Them
to
being
be
the
a
host
host
country. Yeah.
country, exactly. So, in order for us to show that we can also go farther in the World Cup, not just the group phase, I think it's important for us to play well against
Hmm.
teams like that. Because teams like that, like I cannot see them like trying to impose a really offense style. You know what I mean? Like I don't think
No.
that they have the technical skills to be there.
Yeah.
They did invest a lot for this World Cup, but I still think that they're gonna defend a lot. You know, play on the
Yeah.
counter attack, right?
Yeah.
So we should really explore. We shouldn't just be crossing the balls and trying to see if Florian can score a header.
Hmm.
We should actually try to create plays and
Yeah.
do movements that we actually did it a lot. I remember watching the group phase before the last phase of the qualifiers when we played like when we were beating teams by like 10-0, 9-0,
Oh my
7-0.
gosh. Yeah, the
And
pre-qualifiers, those. Yeah.
and that's what we did. We could easily call a bunch of younger folks and still win by 2-0, 3-0, right? But we
Hmm.
call sometimes like Alfonso Davis to go play against Cayman Islands. You know what I mean? You
That
literally bring
11
a
nothing
player,
win. Oh my
you
god.
you bring a player from Bayer to play against guys that like work in the bank in the afternoon and play football in the morning, right? So like I'm
Yeah.
not joking,
Yeah. No,
So it's like,
seriously, man, it's nice.
but at the same time, the idea there was to build that chemistry, to build that
Hmm.
how can we be an offense team, a team, and that led to the team being 2 years without losing a match, 2 years winning matches.
It's
You
insane.
remember that was I
Yeah.
think 17 or 16 games in a row, right? So
Yeah.
uh, that for a national team, like they took it serious when a lot of teams don't, right? So
Hmm.
I think that it's gonna be. I'm hoping that they take the approach tomorrow against
Yeah.
Qatar.
Yeah, man. I think it's a great chance to warm up before Uruguay, which in November the equivalent would be playing Japan right before we play Belgium. So I think John Herdman, I think, has got his system going. He's a smart man. he believed that this group would win the group when everyone else thought that maybe we might just qualify in the fourth position. So it speaks a lot of volumes. He's a very smart man, and I have full faith in whatever he is doing. I think the lineups that we said today would probably be pretty close, barring a couple of changes here and there, unless he's going to complete out of left field and field the complete team.
Try everyone new. Yeah.
I doubt that's going to happen because we're so close to the world. I mean, as of today, I think we're 2 months from today. 2 months and 1 day. It's our first game against Belgium. So we're 2 months away. It's time to get serious. It's time to no more little minutes here and there. Everyone who plays, every minute that's played is calculated, and it's for a reason. And so I think I'm excited for it. Yep. I can't wait to watch the game tomorrow.
Yeah, man. I'm gonna be working, but I'm gonna have my phone on the side, and I don't think I have any calls during that time, so I'm still gonna be able to watch it without being interrupted. But I think it's 11 a.m. our time, right? Like morning time for us.
Yeah, 11. Yeah, I had an appointment to go see a car because I'm trying to get a new one because mine's like not in best shape.
Nice.
I had an appointment at 10:30, and I said I had to cancel it so I could watch the game.
Cool, fair enough. Yeah, makes sense. It just it is what it is.
It's more important. I'd rather watch that.
Huh?
I'd rather watch
that.
Canada play than go for an appointment. So.
Yeah, no, my wife knows that. For example, when my Flamengo team is playing, or Brazil national team or Canada national team, it's like no dates on the night or the evening, things like that. It's just the way it is.
She's really nice at accommodating that way. I like that.
Yes.
That's good to have that.
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, it's kind of a hobby, like if you think about it, right? Like it's I feel like I would be really depressed if I didn't had football in my life. You know what I mean? I am a big fan of basketball as well, but both sports like are things that fulfill my free time, when I want to read things about sports or watch something as a pastime, right? So I feel like football for me, it's more engaging than basketball. Actually, I like football better. It's just the idea that like if I was restricted on that, I would be miserable,
Right.
I can't engage watching. Like I tried to watch NFL this week, and sure, I can watch it. It's just it's not the same as watching football. You know what I mean? Like I don't know how to describe.
The only sports I watch is football, and then when I have time to hockey. So.
And I've been to NHL games, and I like the energy, but I still cannot compare. Like if you ask me to compare, I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like I can't.
It doesn't compare. Yeah.
Cool.
No, sweet. So that's what we want to go over this weekend. Tune in next week because we might have a special guest, and we'll leave that like that.
As a surprise.
Little surprise. So keep tuned. We'll probably put up a couple hype stories just to get everyone to tune in. We'll still won't tell anyone until we release it, but it's been Jordy and Felipe with Everything Canada Soccer. Hope you guys enjoyed, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.
See you.